Hey y'all, it's your girl Michaela Janae here, back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys a knotless braid / large extended knotless braid masterclass. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my tips and tricks, some that I've just learned, some that I've been doing for a while. This beginning of the video is going to be sped up a little bit because I didn't realize I was like recording in slow motion. So right now you just see me doing my foundation parting. So the first thing I do when starting off any size knotless braids is section their middle part, and then I section ear to ear. That is my foundation. That's where I begin. That is going to be the same on everybody's head. It doesn't matter your sizing. Now when it comes to knotless braids, it is so important to develop your own size chart. Don't let anyone, especially the clients or another hairstylist, try to tell you what sizes you're comfortable. If you're small and someone else is large, that's completely fine, as long as you're pricing accordingly and doing what you're comfortable doing. Okay, so my next section after the middle part, ear to ear, is the parietal ridge, like the back of the head, ear to ear. That just divides the back of the head up for me into two sections. So once I section off my first row, then I find the middle nape back of her head. I find that middle, and then on my largest I do about 3 on this bottom row. So I just create a perfectly symmetrical 3. Once you find that middle part of her head, it's going to be able to give you that symmetry and that brick lay that you need. So as you can see, I already have my first braid done, and now I'm sectioning her hair in the square into 3 parts. Now I don't know whether or not, I think I braid underhanded. I don't think I braid overhanded. I know how to do both, but when it comes to doing my knotless braids, I add in the hair underneath and I add in the hair to my left hand. Okay, this is going to be different for every braider. Everybody has different comfort levels and they have different ways of adding in hair, but this is how I do it. Whenever I'm first starting off a braid, I have a different grip to ensure tightness than when I am just braiding the hair down. As you can see, my hands kind of shifted and the way I add in the hair shifted. So once the foundation of the braid is done and is nice and tight, I begin to only add the hair just like straight across. That's how I add in the hair. And as you can see on here, I'm also trying to tuck. Now, tucking has been a journey for me. I'm not perfect at it, but I think I am pretty good. So I am tucking her hair a little bit because this hair is more red than her burgundy hair, but I think that came out really nicely. And don't even worry about me adding in the boho hair right now. I am going to get a little bit closer in and tell you guys more in depth how I do that. But right now, as you can see, I'm adding in the hair to maintain a certain thickness. Now, when it comes to thickness, you have to be using the right braiding hair. The right braiding hair is going to help you maintain thickness. Now right here, I'm about to come with a major gem. You're going to see me break out the Blue Magic hair grease. Now, when I found this on Instagram, I was kind of astonished. And I was like, 1, you guys know I love Blue Magic. 2, I understood that this was going to make the hair more slippery, more slick to help you braid faster. And when I say this is a major key, this is a major key. You don't want to use too much because you don't want to overly grease up the hair, but just greasing your hands, and I think I've seen like African braiders do this too, it helps your hands to glide over the hair. Now, one thing that helps me while braiding is definitely having a rolling stool. Some girls can't sit down while braiding, but I have to. I never braid throughout their entire head because that can become uncomfortable as we move up. But in the beginning, I definitely sit down. It's easier for me to part, get in there, make sure everything is precise. I've had back issues, so I don't want to mess anything up and cut my time behind the chair way down by messing up something majorly. So I do sit down for these parts. So right here, I got a little bit closer. You see me separating in 3 again. I do like 1 rotation of a braid. I add in the hair to my left hand, and then I begin to braid down. I try to add in about 2 pieces of hair before I shift my grip. So as you can see, I'm adding another piece of hair. I'm braiding down. I'm still really close to the root. I'm also making sure that the knotless braid hair is sitting on top of the hair. That helps when you're tucking. If you're not worried about tucking, then you don't really have to keep fixing it like that. But you're going to see me like switching the direction of the hair like that right there to make sure that it's laying on top of her natural hair. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And as you can see, I'm changing my grip now that I'm off of the root. This is something that's going to help with any pain on your client's end. You don't want to stay up on that root too tight for too long because that causes a little bit of pain. As you can see, me shifting the hair on top of her natural hair allows to have that tucking effect. Right here, I did add in another boho piece. When it comes to boho hair, make sure you're asking your client how full they want their head, and it's going to help you to know how many pieces you want to add per braid. I'd never done boho large, so I was just adding in as much as possible. And when it comes to boho braids that's not 100% human, or it's a human hair blend, I never dip it. So I never add the hair in too close to the bottom. I add it closer to the top of the braid, and you're going to see that. Also, I'm never going to add it too far down the braid because I never want to accidentally dip any hair. Even if it is human, I don't want to dip it in hot water. I just don't. So right here, you see me going down, once again, maintaining that thickness. If you need to add in a piece of hair, add in small pieces. Once you go down, you don't want to add in big chunks. That's going to make your braid lumpy. And one thing that really helped me with this style is the braiding hair. I recently switched over to Janet Collection. It is now my new favorite. If anybody knows where I can get some of that online, definitely let me know. But Janet Collection is definitely my favorite. So right now you see me just going ham with my comb. I tried not to overuse the braiding product. It's not edge control. It is a lock and twist gel. It's not an edge control, so it's not like super stiff like an edge control, but I still don't want to like clog up my client's scalp with that and or cause any whiteness. So I put a good little amount on her part, and then I clean the part. If your client has a flexible scalp, make sure you're pulling the hair in different directions to see if your part is straight enough for you. And then I begin doing some geometry. So I always try to make sure my parts are brick laid. I like to roughly part out, kind of pre-part my areas so I know how many braids I'm doing on each row. So right here, I'm kind of sectioning. I like to put some braiding jam, excuse the train, also on the hair, cleaning up parts as I go. I comb it in and kind of begin to mold out my section. One thing about me, I don't do the braids that's like close to the bottom of the square. I do my braids completely centered. So that's mean I'm combing up, I'm combing down, I'm combing from each side. I don't want all the hair going in a downward motion because that causes breakage. So right now I'm starting off by braiding her natural hair in one rotation, adding in the hair to the left, and then braiding again. Once I get to having majority of the hair in my left hand, I'm going to add in my second piece of hair. Make sure that you're adding in hair that's equal density so you won't have a lumpy braid. So as you can see, I'm basically doing the same thing. Right here's a little bit of a closer view. And now I'm going to shift my hands into a downward position, which is less tension on her hair. And I'm adding in the hair straight across into my left and right hands, leaving the middle bare. I'm fixing the hair. This is also me tucking. Right here you see me adding in my boho piece of hair. It does become a little difficult to add in and like separate. I mean, it's not difficult to add in, it's difficult to separate with one hand, but make do, take your time. And since I be having so many clips in the client's hair, I'm able to add in one end of the curly piece and clip up the rest of it so it's up and out of my way. But you're going to see me repeatedly do this in this video so you can get a better look at it. So right now I'm just adding in more hair, making sure that the braid is consistent, and I'm periodically also adding a little bit more grease to my hands so that my hands are able to slip through the hair. As you can see, I'm adding in a second piece of the boho hair, and that'll probably be my last piece because like I said, I don't add in any type of added hair past the shoulders because I don't want to accidentally dip it when I am pulling it all up at the end and dipping the ends. Right here you see me adding in the braiding jam once again in every direction. I like for my braids to be centered. So now I'm combing it in, beginning to mold it, And now I'm sectioning in 3. I know some girls use a rat tail comb to section in 3, but it's just quicker for me to use my nails. God bless me with nails, so I'm going to use them. I'm doing that 1 rotation, adding in the hair, going over in my left hand, and braiding underhanded, adding in my second piece. I'm still really close to the scalp, making sure that the braid is tight and the foundation is smooth. And now I'm about to flip my hand positions and add in another piece straight across. It is really repetitive, but once you get the hang of it, you can be able to feel the thickness of the hair you need and like kind of remember by sight what you're trying to do. I'm adding in the braiding hair, the little boho hair, to my left hand and putting the rest of it up in a clip, and then we just braid as normal. I actually tuck that also. And this is me doing the ends of the hair. I do try to braid as close to the bottom as possible, but not too close because I don't want to hurt my fingers. That hurts, like braiding that little strands of hair. So right now I am doing another section. I'm putting the jam, and then we're perfecting. We're holding the hair tight and seeing what does not make a straight line. If you have the right parting comb, you're going to be able to make better straight lines. So basically I'm doing the same thing, sectioning in 3. Then we're going to add 2 pieces of braiding hair. Like, you should be adding in the same amount of braiding hair in every braid in that section. Of course, the amount is going to change between rows, but in one row you should be adding in the same hair to make sure that all your braids are the exact same length. So in this video I try to get a lot of angles for you guys so you guys can really see what I'm doing up close, far away, at the bottom, at the top, everywhere. So that is what I'm doing. It's pretty much the same. I'm still trying to fix it and tuck and make sure that my parts are straight. As you can see, it is bricklaying beautifully. I'm adding in my curly piece and I'm making sure that is out of my way. And I am just braiding down and tucking that curly piece as I go because I don't want that to ever stick out or give my client any more trouble than it already might do. Curly hair is a lot of maintenance. Never tell your client that it's easy because boho braids are not easy, but it is a style choice and it is a maintenance choice. So I'm adding in my second piece of boho hair, and then I am just continuing to braid down. Right now I'm doing my last 2 sections. I'm adding the jam or the braiding gel. I'm perfecting the part. It's always good to do a dry part and then a jammed part just to make sure that your parts are super crispy. And once you're doing that top row section, you have to realize that this is going to be like your sectioning for the front also, because you want them to eventually like add up and meet at the top 2 front sections. So be conscious of that. You're going to see what I'm talking about later in the video. Make sure all of your parts are super clean. So once I get above the ear, I kind of like to connect the 2 sides. Like I said right here, I like these to be connected. For sure, I like for that to be cohesive, even if the in front of the ear and the behind the ear are not the same exact squares. I like for the middle section to be cohesive. So right here, I'm just doing the parting that works best for my client's head. If I would have put 2 braids right here, to me it would have been making it too small. I wanted to stay a true large, so I just did 1 braid above the ear. And it worked out really well. As you can see, I am perfecting this part, making it equal up with the back. And I'm just going over that part as many times as I need to. I'm adding in the braiding product all around, making sure that if she wants baby hairs, now is when I'm going to ask her. I want to ask her, does she want them flat ironed? Does she want to leave them in? Does she want to leave them out? What does she want to do? She wants to put the baby hairs in, which is what I always recommend. I love the way edges look, but if you can't maintain them at home, don't get them as a client, and make sure your client understands that they're going to have to try to replicate whatever you just did. So of course, in the front of people's head, the hair is always a little bit finer. It's a smaller section, so now you have to add in a little bit more braiding hair to get the thickness that's at the back. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still tucking the hair. I'm adding in the curly pieces. One thing to be conscious of when it comes to adding curly pieces in the front is that you can't always add them into your comfortable hand. So right there, you saw me add it into my left hand, but if you want the curly pieces to fall towards the face, I need to add it into my right hand. So be conscious of that. Sometimes you have to do things that are uncomfortable to make sure your curls and everything are falling how they need to fall. So as you can see in this little video right here, you see me doing some finishing things, oiling my client's scalp. I can do a whole video on that, different oils I like to use and what I do for that. And as you can see, it just looks so clean and crisp in that video. Do you see the difference that, you know, lighting and the different cameras make? My camera makes everything looks real cinematic and it looks like a movie, but in your iPhone camera, it's really bright, really crisp. It just looks like you're there with the person. I really do love that. When it comes to the end of my appointments, I oil, I do the edges, I foam, and I do all that before dipping. So I bring up all of the curly pieces because I do not dip that. I add some foam to the ends, and then I always use perm rods to roll the ends of my boho braids. Some people do like to leave them straight. That's also a preference that you have to ask the client about. But I just use various size perm rods to get the curls I need. I try to do it in kind of medium-sized sections. You don't want to dip too many braids at one time. And just look at those perfect curls on the right there. This is the finished products of my large extended colored boho knotless braids, and as you can see, my client is just gorgeous. These look so good on her. The color is super vibrant. Like, do you see this? The braids are so long, everything is super neat. So if you're able to follow this tutorial and do everything I did, you should get these exact same results. When it came to doing the front middle sections, it was already easy and set up for me because I set it up in the back of the head. No parting should be confusing because in every section you're doing your geometry, you're setting it up already, and the parts should just come together. Your squares and the length of your braids are also going to be equal because you followed that same pattern all throughout the head. As you can see, it's perfectly lined up. At the top, I wasn't able to bricklay, but sometimes that happens. As long as your hair is still falling pretty nicely, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You have to go with your client's head shape more than trying to follow a certain like pattern. You want to go with what works with the head shape, and that is what I did. Everything came together beautifully. The length is cohesive, the sizes are cohesive, the braids are flowing, there's no right residue. Like, I love them. I love braiding, even though it does take a little minute and it is kind of strenuous on my body. I love the results. I love the creativity. I love how it makes my clients feel. I love that they can not have to do their hair for a while. I hope you all enjoyed this masterclass. More is definitely on the way. Make sure you're following both of us on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah.